My friends, let us confront a truth we often resist. Every man and woman harbors desires, but not every man and woman walks into destiny. Desire is natural, it burns within us like a spark, but destiny is not reached by sparks alone. It requires the steady fire of discipline. For discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. Without it, dreams evaporate into the thin air of wishful thinking. With it, the impossible becomes inevitable. Think for a moment about the structure of life. Every dreamer you admire, every achiever you respect, every leader you reference has stood at the intersection between desire and discipline. The distance between wanting something and walking into it is often longer than we imagine, and it is not talent, not luck, not opportunity alone that carries you across. It is discipline. Discipline is not glamorous. It does not announce itself with applause. It is the unseen scaffolding upon which greatness is built. Psychology tells us that human beings are creatures of habit. Our brain conserves energy by repeating patterns, by creating pathways of least resistance. That is why, when you attempt change, it feels uncomfortable. It is not merely resistance from the outside world. It is resistance from your own mind, your own body, your own wiring. Yet here lies the paradox. Transformation cannot be achieved by comfort. Transformation requires discipline because discipline is the intentional disruption of old patterns and the planting of new ones. Discipline demands that you act not according to your moods but according to your mission. If you rely on how you feel, you will never move consistently. Feelings fluctuate like the wind. One day you feel inspired, another day you feel tired, and another day you feel indifferent. But discipline is the compass that directs you even when emotions rebel. It is the reminder that you do not live according to the tyranny of feelings, but according to the authority of purpose. History is littered with men and women of brilliance who squandered their gifts because they lacked discipline. Talent without discipline becomes wasted potential. Vision without discipline becomes hallucination. But when discipline takes root, desire gains legs, wings, and direction. Consider the runner preparing for a marathon. On the first day, the body resists, the lungs burn, the muscles ache. But through discipline, through repetition, through consistent effort, the body adapts, the muscles strengthen, the lungs expand. What was once impossible becomes natural, and so it is with life. The 21-day success plan is not about wishful hoping, it is about disciplined practice. It is about saying, for these 21 days I will no longer be a prisoner to the whims of procrastination, distraction, or self-doubt. Instead, I will commit to a structured rhythm that reshapes me. Discipline is not punishment, it is preparation. It is not a cage, it is a key. It frees you from being enslaved to old destructive patterns and equips you to walk into destiny with strength. Philosophers remind us that freedom is not the absence of restraint. True freedom is mastery over oneself. A man who indulges every appetite is not free, he is enslaved. A woman who yields to every impulse is not liberated, she is trapped. Discipline is the great liberator because it teaches you mastery. To say no to yourself when necessary. To delay gratification, to rise when the bed whispers 5 more minutes. To act not because you feel like it, but because destiny demands it. Let me tell you, success is never an accident. It is always intentional, and the intentionality is manifested in discipline. Show me the habits of a man, and I will show you his future. Show me the routines of a woman, and I will show you her destiny. What you repeat daily, consciously or unconsciously, shapes the person you are becoming. If you repeat procrastination, you will reap regret. If you repeat discipline, you will reap fulfillment. The law of life is simple. You harvest what you sow. Now, why 21 days? Neuroscience reveals that it takes repeated action over a sustained period to rewire the brain, to shift from old patterns into new. 21 days is not magic, it is method. It is long enough to break resistance, yet short enough to sustain focus. When you commit to discipline for 21 days, you are training your mind, your body, and your spirit to recognize a new normal. You are crossing the bridge from desire to destiny, one step at a time. Discipline is also contagious. Once you apply it to one area of life, it spills into others. The man who disciplines his body to wake early finds it easier to discipline his mind to focus. The woman who disciplines her spending finds it easier to discipline her emotions under pressure. Discipline builds integrity. It aligns the fragments of your being into one coherent force. And when you are aligned, you are unstoppable, but discipline requires sacrifice. There is no greatness without a cost. To commit to discipline is to say no to ease in the short term, so you may enjoy excellence in the long term. Every champion has trained when others rested. Every leader has studied when others gossiped. Every visionary has pressed forward when others retreated. The discipline they embraced became the crown they wore. Transformation, my friends, is often misunderstood. Many people believe that change comes through a grand event, an extraordinary breakthrough, a sudden miracle that sweeps away years of struggle in a single moment. But life rarely unfolds that way. Real change, the kind that lasts, does not come in an explosion. It comes in a quiet revolution of daily choices. It is the accumulation of small, deliberate shifts that over time create monumental change. You see, the human mind is wired to exaggerate the value of the dramatic while underestimating the power of the consistent. We look for the spectacular while ignoring the simple. Yet history, psychology, and philosophy all converge on one truth. Greatness is built not in leaps, but in steps. It is the small daily adjustments that redirect the course of a life, just as a ship that shifts its direction by 1 degree eventually ends up in an entirely different destination. Think about this. If you were to set sail across the ocean and adjust your compass by only a single degree, at first the difference would appear negligible. You would still be moving, still on the water, still under the same sky. But over miles, that single degree takes you to a shore far different from the one you once targeted. And so it is with life. A single daily change, choosing to read instead of scrolling aimlessly, choosing to pray instead of complaining, choosing to rise early instead of wasting time. These shifts, when repeated consistently, reorient the trajectory of your destiny. Psychologists refer to this as the principle of compounding habits. Just as money compounds when invested, actions compound when repeated. A single drop of water seems insignificant, but repeated over time it carves valleys and shapes landscapes. Likewise, a single decision may seem small today, but if repeated for 21 days, it begins to shape identity, and identity shapes destiny. You are not simply what you wish, you are what you repeatedly do. The tragedy of many lives is not that they lack potential, but that they underestimate the power of small beginnings. They dismiss the daily disciplines because they do not see immediate results. They forget that seeds take time before they sprout. No farmer plants today and harvests tomorrow. There is a waiting period, a nurturing period, a period where the seed is invisible but still alive, breaking beneath the soil, preparing to manifest. The small changes you commit to in 21 days may not shout their impact on day one, But by day 21, you will realize that your mindset is shifting, your habits are solidifying, and your future is being rewritten. Consider the story of personal health. A man who decides to walk for 30 minutes each day will not transform overnight. After one day, the mirror shows no difference. After a week, the changes are subtle. But after 21 days, a new habit is born. And after months, a new body is formed. The small shift of daily walking reprograms not only his body but his mind. Discipline becomes natural, energy multiplies, confidence grows. The same is true in business, in relationships, in faith. The small adjustments, when compounded, produce results that feel miraculous. But let me emphasize this. Small does not mean insignificant. Small is simply the foundation. The great pyramids of Egypt were not built in a single stroke. They were assembled stone by stone. The Great Wall of China did not rise in a day. It was laid brick by brick. Even time itself is measured not in years but in seconds, small units that, when accumulated, tell the story of eternity. Do not despise the day of small beginnings, for the beginning is where transformation germinates. There is also a psychological liberation in focusing on small daily shifts. When people attempt massive overnight change, they often become overwhelmed. They quit because the mountain looks insurmountable. But when you break the mountain into daily steps, when you say, "Today I will only focus on this one task, this one choice, this one action," suddenly the impossible becomes manageable. This is the secret of the 21-day success plan. It takes the overwhelming concept of transformation and makes it digestible, practical, and achievable. Let us also recognize the spiritual dimension of small shifts. When you align small daily actions with higher purpose, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Reading a single page of scripture each morning may not feel like much, but it plants seeds of wisdom that grow into trees of resilience. Writing a gratitude list each night may appear trivial, but it trains your spirit to focus on abundance instead of lack. These small rituals connect you with divine rhythm, transforming not only what you do but who you are becoming. Some will ask, but can small shifts really change the course of my life? And the answer is unequivocally yes. The addict who chooses sobriety one day at a time eventually lives a lifetime of freedom. The student who studies 1 hour each day eventually graduates with mastery. The entrepreneur who makes one call each day eventually builds an empire. Small daily shifts create monumental change because they work with the grain of time instead of against it. Let us not be deceived by the culture of immediacy that surrounds us. We live in an age of instant gratification where people want overnight success, quick fixes, and microwave results. But the truth is, what comes quickly often fades quickly. What is built slowly, steadily, consistently endures. Diamonds are not formed in an instant. They are formed under pressure over time. Character is not developed in a day. It is developed through daily discipline, through choices repeated until they become part of your nature. So as you embark on these 21 days, I urge you, do not seek to change everything at once. Instead, identify the small shifts that will make the greatest impact. It may be waking up 1 hour earlier. It may be replacing negative self-talk with words of affirmation. It may be committing to write your goals down every morning. Whatever the shift, embrace it fully, practice it daily, and watch how over time it rewrites the story of your life. And when the temptation to quit arises, remind yourself, it is not about perfection, it is about persistence. Missing one step does not negate the journey. What matters is the return, the consistency, the the refusal to let one failure become a permanent identity. Success is not built in absence of mistakes. It is built in the resilience to keep walking, one shift at a time, until the small accumulates into the extraordinary. Success, my friends, is often misunderstood as the mere accumulation of wealth, recognition, or achievement. But when you strip away the glitter and the applause, you will discover that true success is not simply about what you do or what you acquire. It is about who you become. And who you become is determined by whether your life is aligned with purpose, for purpose is the compass of destiny. It is the force that gives meaning to your efforts and direction to your discipline. Without purpose, success is shallow. With purpose, success becomes powerful. The 21-day success plan is not merely a ritual of building new habits. It is an opportunity to align your actions with the purpose for which you were created. A life out of alignment is like a wheel spinning without traction. It expends energy but goes nowhere. Many are busy, yet not productive. Many are moving, yet not advancing. They confuse motion with progress. But once your habits, your mindset, and your vision align with your deeper purpose, you unlock an energy and power far greater than your own. Psychology tells us that human beings crave meaning more than pleasure. Viktor Frankl, the great psychiatrist and survivor of the Holocaust, wrote that man can endure almost any how, if he has a strong enough why. Discipline without purpose becomes drudgery. Small daily shifts without purpose become routine. But when those disciplines and shifts are connected to your purpose, they transform into fuel, into joy, into a deep well of resilience. Purpose makes sacrifice meaningful. Purpose makes struggle worthwhile. Purpose makes discipline sustainable. Let us reflect on this. Alignment is the key that unlocks power. Consider the example of light. A light bulb spreads its energy in many directions, giving illumination but limited strength. But when light is aligned, when it is concentrated into a laser, it has the power to cut through steel. The difference is alignment. Likewise, when your energy is scattered in 1,000 directions, pleasing people here, chasing trends there, following distractions everywhere, you dilute your strength. But when your energy is aligned with your God-given purpose, you become unstoppable. Philosophers have long said that the greatest tragedy is not death, but a life lived without purpose. For to live without purpose is to exist without meaning, to breathe without impact, to move without destination. And yet, purpose is not something far removed, hidden in some distant land. It is often found in the very talents, burdens, and opportunities you carry daily. The 21-day plan is your chance to silence the noise, to reflect deeply, and to align what you do with why you exist. In practical terms, alignment means ensuring that your daily disciplines reflect your ultimate calling. If your purpose is to serve, then your 21-day commitment should cultivate compassion, patience, and generosity. If your purpose is to lead, then your 21 days should be dedicated to building vision, courage, and integrity. If your purpose is to create, then your daily rhythm should nurture imagination, skill, and focus. Purpose gives context to discipline and direction to small shifts. Without it, you risk climbing the ladder of success only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. Let us not deceive ourselves. Alignment with purpose does not always bring immediate comfort. In fact, it often demands discomfort. Purpose stretches you, pulls you out of complacency, and demands accountability, but it also unlocks power. When you live aligned with purpose, you tap into resources greater than your own divine strength, resilience of spirit, and a clarity of vision that keeps you moving even when obstacles stand in your way. Think of the eagle. It is not the strongest of birds, nor the fastest, yet it is unmatched in flight because it aligns with the wind. It does not resist the storm, it uses the storm. Purpose works the same way. When you are aligned with your calling, even adversity becomes an ally. Setbacks become setups, delays become preparation. What others see as resistance, you see as refinement. Purpose redeems every struggle, because you know that nothing is wasted when it serves your destiny. Let us also appreciate that purpose is not static, it is progressive. You may not see the full picture at once, but alignment is about taking each step with clarity, trusting that as you walk, the path will unfold. This is why the 21-day plan is so significant. It trains you to align daily, not just yearly. It reminds you that destiny is not discovered in a moment. It is revealed in the faithfulness of daily alignment. Now let me speak to the danger of misalignment. When you live outside your purpose, no amount of success will satisfy you. You may acquire wealth, but remain empty. You may earn titles, but feel hollow. You may impress others, but betray yourself. Misalignment creates exhaustion because you are working against the current of your own design. Alignment, however, creates flow where effort feels natural and energy replenishes itself. It is the difference between striving and thriving, and so I say to you, do not only ask, what do I want from life? Ask instead, what does life, what does God, what does destiny demand of me? For when you align your habits, your goals, and your vision with that higher calling, you become more than successful. You become significant. Success is what you achieve. Significance is what you leave behind. Success fades. Significance endures. Alignment with purpose ensures that your life becomes a gift to others, not merely an achievement for yourself.